Alright, so this deck right here revolves around cards which are indestructible. Indestructible is a term in Magic the Gathering, I think. I don't actually play the game, but it's a term for monsters who can't be destroyed by card effects or battle. Those two specific things. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of immunities in the game, and there's surprisingly very few monsters who can either be destroyed by battle or card effects, like Beals or the Time Lords. And that's basically just the theme of this deck. Alright, so final thoughts on this deck. This deck is kind of a mess. You see, whatchamacallit, I made a video yesterday and I didn't include an intro. And the reason I didn't do an intro on that video was because it was supposed to be just like one replay. Because I was not going to play any more duels on that. And I thought, if it's such a short one, I'm just going to like basically upload the video, just that one replay, and then just add a ending to the end of it. And then I ended up adding a second replay to it, and it was just kind of a shorter than normal video, and it didn't really make sense. So intros aren't going away. That was just like a one-off video. Because I only say that because I think 90% of the comments were asking where's the intro. It's not going anywhere. That has nothing to do with this deck though. This deck right here, I didn't want it to make it a pure Time Lord deck because all of the Time Lords are indestructible. Like, they all have the effect where they can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So, like, that's neat. I'm not going to make a pure Time Lord deck, though. Also, Melodious Choir, I think that's what it is. The Bloom Diva is also indestructible and can be brought out with Ostinato. Ostinato? I don't know how to say that. I'm pretty sure that doesn't sound right. It can basically fusion summon the monster straight by using materials from your deck at the cost of destroying the card during the end phase. But since Bloom Diva is indestructible, it doesn't get destroyed by this card. So I thought that was really good because it's also really good at destroying special summon monsters and staying on the board. You know, unless your opponent brings out some kind of removal, which did happen in a lot of the games I lost. There were a couple of games where I would open up with this card and then bring out Bloom Diva, and then they would just like bring out Nightmare Unicorn or Borolo Dragon and just steal it, or, you know, get rid of it with non-destruction effects. I was like, okay, I'm going to stop doing that. And instead on opening turns, try not to do that, and instead bring them out like on turn 2 or 3 or something. And I started winning a lot more once I did that. Solitaire is a 1-card Beals, and I forgot I had 2 of them in here because there's not really a way to bring out a second Beals in the duel. Maybe bringing out 1 if Solitaire isn't stopped, which it was stopped, you know, like 75% of the time I drew into Solitaire. It was stopped with an Ash Blossom. Whatever, it happens. That means my other plays were free to go through. But the combo with Solitaire is to use Solitaire to bring out Unizombie, use Unizombie to send Medzuki to the grave, and then use Medzuki to bring back Solitaire from the grave, and then you have enough materials for Beals. While also locking up your extra deck zone, but this deck doesn't really go into link plays very much. It's more about bringing out indestructible monsters, so not a big deal. So those were like my 3 big things with the deck, where the Solitaire combo for a Beals, this card for a Bloom Diva, or just Time Lords. And I also have just Cosmo Wicked Witch in here randomly, because it has a conditional indestructible effect where on spell speed 2 you can pay 1,000 life points to become indestructible for the turn, which is pretty good since it's level 4 and has 1900 attack. This deck really lacks any kind of punching power outside of Beals, who almost never saw play. And this was actually how I got a lot of my damage on board, and with Unizombie attacking, surprisingly. I have so much removal, because I can run triple Torrential Tribute and not worry about destroying my monsters. Same with Dark Hole. But just doing damage to my opponent was really hard, because Time Lords outside of, you know, like the burn effect Time Lords, which I didn't include, because I didn't think I'd need them, outside of the like 4000 beat stick one, which can't be searched with Time Maiden, which I didn't realize until later on testing. Not that I really needed to search it out, it's just I probably could have played one of the 0 attack ones and did a little bit better just because I really needed burn power. So a lot of the duels were a lot longer than they needed to be, but I was able to survive for a long time, thanks to being able to destroy any threats before they could come out. That's why I ran like the entire Solemn Brigade and triple Torrential Tribute to try to stop special summon monsters who I could just blow up with Bloom Diva anyway. That being said, Cosmo Dark Destroyer was a terrible tech choice. I don't know why I thought I could play this. I guess maybe when I was doing in the initial deck building stages, I thought Wicked Witch could special summon it from the deck, which does make it really good, but it's just from the hand. I don't have a way to search it out, so it's a dead card, and I just kind of forgot to remove it because I never really drew into it anyway. I did draw into Wicked Witch a lot, though. So I guess if I did draw into it, I would have been able to use it, but I didn't. It's also not indestructible. It just is like semi-indestructible, though, because it can't be targeted by effects, which is good. And all of the Melodious monsters are in here just to bring out Bloom Diva. None of them themselves are indestructible. They're just materials for the fusion monster.